Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Trimmer, and I am a student in the occupational therapy program at Cleveland State. And this is my partner, Natalie Tennyson. Um, we were going to start off by doing some fun facts about ourselves. So, a fun fact about myself is that I went to Ohio State and I actually got a scholarship to go to Ecuador for a medical clinic. And that is the only time I've been out of the country, but it was super fun. So yeah, that's my cool story. I've just been out of the country one time to Ecuador and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. So my name is Natalie. My fun fact is that I am a twin and I also have three other sisters. So that's a little bit about me.
Very cool. Very cool. I actually did know that about Natalie already. Um, so we're both students in the occupational therapy program. So to begin, we're gonna kind of go over what occupational therapy is and what occupation means to us, because a lot of people outside of this profession just think of occupation as your job, but really occupations are everything that you want to do, need to do, like to do throughout your everyday life. That could be everything from getting dressed in the morning, eating, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, sleeping, and it can include the typical idea of working or going to school. Those are all occupations to us as occupational therapy students. So what we're going to be talking about today is sleep. So I actually just mentioned that as an occupation. It's what we call an ADL, or activity of daily living, because in reality you should be doing it every day. Um, and so I wanted to ask Natalie, how do you perceive your sleep quality, and how do you think, what do you think, you're a good sleeper or struggle with it, or?
Yeah, I think I usually get about 8 hours of sleep. So I think I sleep pretty well, but it does take me a while to fall asleep. So I sometimes lay on my phone in bed and then I'm up for a while after that. So I definitely have some room for improvement in my sleep for sure.
Cool. Yeah, so personally, I was super excited about being able to talk about this topic with you guys on the vlog, because personally I've always struggled with having good sleep patterns and sleep quality. So my sleep um, is typically about 6 or 7 hours per night, with quite a few, maybe three on average, wake ups. So it's not the greatest. So I was excited to learn about better ways to sleep longer with better quality sleep, and to avoid waking up in the middle of the night as much. So, yeah, so why is sleep important is the first question that we're going to get into. Why do you think sleep's important, Natalie?
I think if you're not sleeping well, it can really affect you the next day. I know it can be really hard to get up and want to do things, and then to stay awake as a student, to stay awake in classes, and to have energy to make it throughout the whole day without napping. It can really make your day a lot harder. So it affects a lot of different areas.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Um, Promoting optimal functioning is kind of what you're getting at there, with being a student and being able to actually focus and learn while you're in the classroom rather than just being present. If you didn't have a good night's sleep, you may just be sitting there kind of letting it go in one ear and come out the other.
Yeah.
Along with promoting optimal functioning, though, healthy sleep patterns actually promote growth and tissue restoration, improve your immune system functioning. Sleep is when your memories are consolidated, which is basically putting them from short-term memory into long-term memory and being able to retain that information. So very important for students. Um, it can improve mood. I think you mentioned that as well, with just being in a bad mood if you don't get a good night's sleep. And it this is the sleep is when the time when beta amyloid plaques are cleared, which in layman's terms basically means the brain's way of getting rid of a certain plaque that is actually a contributing factor for Alzheimer's and other dementia. So yes, you were right. It absolutely plays into many different roles in our life. And some things that I hadn't even thought about before. Some of it's a little bit more obvious, I guess. But so next, what do you need to know about this? Is that sleep is actually a series of events that affects your entire life, and the actual act of sleeping is only one portion of this occupation. So, like we said, sleep is going to affect all of your other occupations. It's going to affect how you feel throughout the day, and affect your performance and the things that you like to do and need to do. For the remainder of this vlog, we'll just basically be talking about different ways that we can try and work on our sleep. However, I will include the disclaimer here that the information presented today outlines some healthy options for managing sleep. It is not meant to replace your currently prescribed medical regimen. So please contact your physician or healthcare provider with any questions or before starting any new health promoting practices. So I have a list of things that we can do, with one being kind of a larger topic in itself that includes a bunch of different aspects to it. So we're going to start with that one. Number one is CBT-I, which stands for Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia. This is a therapeutic approach to improve sleep quality, and it includes, like I said, 5 different individual components. The first component is called stimulus control. So the main aspect of stimulus control is only using your bed for 2 specific things. And I'm actually going to ask Natalie if she knows what those 2 specific things are.
I would assume sleep for one and then sex for the other.
You are absolutely correct. Sleep and sex, those are the only 2 things that we should be doing in bed. Obviously, a lot of us use our bed for many different things, such as using your cell phone, computer, trying to do homework late at night, like us students are, watching TV, playing video games, eating, or drinking. Do you have anything that you do that maybe we should stop doing in bed, Natalie?
Yeah, I watch Netflix in bed all the time. That's usually how I get ready for bed. I usually watch TV. And I know that's not always the most helpful thing to calm down your mind and your body. And I've also used my phone in bed too. So definitely room to improve.
I think we all have, to be honest, with a lot of those things. I think what's important to really take from this is to limit that as much as possible. Just do your best and not make it a consistent thing that you're constantly eating in bed or constantly on your phone in bed. As long as you're mindful of those things, are going to decrease your sleep quality. So along with the stimulus control, as I was saying, another principle that CBT-I talks about is not spending more than 15 minutes in bed if you are not sleeping. So if you do end up going to bed and you can't get to sleep within 15 minutes, it's advised that you get up and do something either mentally or physically active until, not vigorous physical activity, but just moving around until you feel tired again, and then try and go back to sleep. Because what happens a lot of times is you are laying in bed and you're just thinking about, oh, I'm not going to be able to get to sleep. I'm only going to get this many hours of sleep before tomorrow, and your mind starts wandering, which I will get into that later. That's a different aspect of the CBT-I. But so 15-minute rule, just remember that. And I actually have an experience that I sometimes fall asleep on the couch. And I've noticed that when I do fall asleep on the couch, my quality of sleep is much poorer, and it actually takes a lot longer to get to sleep in the first place. And I think that is because I do have at least somewhat of an association with my bed for sleep. So I'll get to sleep quicker when I'm in my bed. Do you have
Yeah.
anything like that, Natalie?
Yeah, definitely. Whenever I fall asleep on the couch, I catch myself waking up a lot of times in the night, and I just, like you said, just really poor quality of sleep. And the next day is, you can just definitely tell that you're not as well rested as if you were sleeping in your bed, for sure.
Yeah, even not just the couch, but if you're in like a hotel or you're on vacation, I think sometimes the
Yeah.
sleep's worse there too, because it's not your specific sleep location that your mind has um, associated with being asleep. So yeah,
Hmm.
definitely. So the second part of CBT-I is relaxation. So this can be just using calming sensory input, and you could use relaxing and quiet sounds like nature sounds or some relaxing music at a low volume. This can also include deep breathing techniques and meditation. And I'm no expert on either one of those things, but I do know you can find many different instructory videos on YouTube for both deep breathing techniques and meditation that are relatively easy to learn. So, do you use any relaxation techniques before bed?
Yeah, actually, I use this app. It's called Calm, and they have guided imagery that you just listen to different things, and they have like deep breathing on there, meditations, and sometimes I use that when I'm really having a hard time sleeping, and it's been really helpful. So just calming the mind and the body is really important.
Yeah, that's really cool. I tend to like to listen to like more mellow music. If anything, to be honest, I don't normally do any relaxation techniques, but if I do, I would listen to some calming music at a low volume while I'm in my bed. So, all right, next, the third component of it, CBT-I, is sleep hygiene. So this is just a list of many different factors, environmental factors that can be affecting your sleep. Um, some are more obvious than others, but these things can include caffeine, nicotine, your diet, how much exercise you had completed that day. Alcohol can reduce sleep quality, noise, um, lighting in your room, which I mentioned previously, temperature, bed comfort, and if you have a sleeping partner who either moves a lot in their sleep or snores or makes sounds in their sleep, all of those things can affect sleep. So it's important to take a moment and kind of think about if you think any of those things are personally affecting your sleep. I know one of those things that I said that I cannot sleep if my room is not cool. If it's hot, I'm just not gonna have a good night's sleep. So
They,
personally, you're the same way.
I'm actually not. I'm not that picky about the temperature, but definitely the noise. I like to sleep with white noise on just because sometimes there's traffic that'll wake me up. So I always like the noise is one that I always pay attention to.
Yes. So yes, that was sleep hygiene. The fourth component of CBT-I is cognitive restructuring. So you may actually experience some of the other techniques in other sleep therapy programs, but this cognitive restructuring is specific to CBT-I. This is changing the way you think about sleep because as long as you have dysfunctional thoughts about sleep, you will continue to have dysfunctional sleep. So an example of a dysfunctional thought could be, if I don't get 8 hours of sleep tonight, I will not feel rested tomorrow, which is not always the case. That may be true sometimes, but it's that definite thought of that can cause anxiety about not getting enough sleep, and then it will just lead to a harder time initiating sleep. So this part of this component also includes grounding technique that can be used for nightmares. I don't know if you ever have any nightmares, Natalie.
I don't. Luckily, I don't, but I know a lot of people who really struggle with that.
Yes.
Do
Yeah, I
you
used
have?
to as a kid, and now a little bit less. And I really don't, if I do, I really don't have a too bad of a problem getting back to sleep. But if you do, if your nightmares are more severe, and you have trouble getting back to sleep, there's this grounding technique. So it's where if you wake up at night from a nightmare, you engage in 2 to 3 strong sensory experiences, such as listening to a preferred calming song, holding an ice cube or other cold object, eating a mint or something else that has a strong flavor to it, or smelling something with a strong scent, such as coffee beans or perfume or something. But it's important to remember how this technique works for it to be beneficial to you, and that is to focus on the here and now of what you're experiencing through your sensory systems rather than the nightmare, which is already past. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's something that may not be beneficial for me, but I could see that helping out people with more severe nightmares who have trouble getting back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, the fifth component to CBT-I is sleep restriction therapy. So this is the part of the CBT-I program that requires the most dedication, as it is prescribed sleep. Begin by only being in bed as long as you know that you can have quality sleep. So if you know you're only sleeping quality 5 hours a night, you start by only being in bed for 5 hours per day, per night, and you gradually work your way up from there. So yeah, so those are all 5 components of CBT-I.
I like how you addressed the thoughts in that. So not just changing your behaviors, changing your environment, and changing the way that you think about things. So I
Yeah,
think that took a really good perspective on it.
and that seemed to me to be the most important aspect of CBT-I that really separates it from other sleep therapy programs.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to say was the need, there's a widespread need for this, as many people, veterans and non-veterans, struggle with sleep quality. So there currently are not enough professionals to fill this need. However, there is a free app on the Apple and Android store called CBT-I Coach, and it's free. I don't know if I mentioned that already, and it is going to give you the tools to actually use this strategy on your own without needing a professional um, to instruct you on all these things. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially that it's free. I think most people nowadays a lot of people have a smartphone, so pretty accessible. So, and then finally, before I move on to another strategy for helping sleep, the last thing I'll say about CBT-I is that there are some situations that may need another technique outside of CBT-I, or they may need a specialized version of this therapy. And some of these situations include substance use disorder, uncontrolled seizure disorders, bipolar disorder, or participation in an exposure-based PTSD therapy program. So there are some contraindications. So be sure to look into that if you feel you may fall into one of those categories before trying to enroll in one of these programs. So next, another tip to improve our sleep is to avoid napping, which I know is a very may seem more obvious, but I don't know. Do you take naps, Natalie?
Occasionally I will, but I really try not to because it really affects when I'm trying to sleep later. I have a really hard time sleeping if I nap during the day. So I really try to avoid that. But
Yeah,
sometimes it's hard to not take a nap.
yeah, yeah. Especially getting up early for class sometimes and coming home, you just feel exhausted. I will say this might be my only good sleep habit is that I don't nap, and
Oh, wow.
I never really have. I think personally, I always feel more tired when I get up, so I don't see the point in them. But when I
Yeah.
have napped, so I avoid it. I won't sleep. Yeah, I just basically never take naps. So
That's
I got that going for me at least.
good.
Next, get out of bed immediately when you wake up. So I know personally, I am guilty. The first thing I do when I wake up is get on my phone and just scroll through social media feeds and just different news feeds. And honestly, I probably spend a good 20 minutes every morning doing that without, once I'm awake, just laying there. So that's something I can definitely work on, is getting a morning routine together that will encourage me to get up more immediately. How about you?
Yeah, I find myself hitting the snooze button over and over again instead of waking up and getting out of bed right away. I'll just lay there and not get up. So I do the same type of thing. It would be a lot easier to get up right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next on our tip list, don't be a clock watcher. So this is something I kind of mentioned earlier about the anxiety that can be created. So it would be suggested that you don't, and obviously everyone's cell phone is a clock as well. So keeping your cell phone out of arm's reach, and if you have an alarm clock that you can see the time, to just turn it around so that you're not able to see the time when you sleep. So that is something I could improve on, because like I said, I sleep with my phone in my bed. My phone's actually my alarm clock. So I think personally I could probably set it across the room instead, so that I don't look at it throughout the night, or yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an alarm clock?
I use my phone too.
I think that's probably like this generation's go-to.
But it is tempting to have your phone right beside your bed to check it. So probably would be better to have an alarm clock.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that'd be a good way to not have to. I was thinking like just put it on the other side of the room, so I have to. It also creates that like getting up
Oh,
immediately.
yeah.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
only will I not be able to check the time, but also now I have to go get up to even turn my alarm off. So I think that would be, for me, I think that would work.
Yeah.
And then finally, I have one more tip to help improve sleep quality, and that is that there are apps, like you mentioned one, there are plenty of sleep quality apps, and a lot of them are free. Calm is definitely a popular one. But there are also apps that reduce the blue light emitted from your phone or computer screen. So I don't know. Do you use any of those apps?
I have the blue light blocking, like what you mentioned on your phone. I do that a few hours before I go to sleep. It's like automatically set. But I don't have one on my computer, but I think that would be really helpful.
And actually, it just reminded me of another way that you can block blue light, are the blue light glasses. They
Oh,
sell,
yeah.
so I know a lot of people in our class have the blue light glasses. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess it would be the same if you just started wearing those in the evening before looking at your phone or computer or any screen for that matter. So yeah, that would serve the same purpose. So that's it for the tips that I have. Next, I was just going to show everybody some resources that I found on. So this is the Society of Behavioral Sleep Medicine, can be accessed at behavioralsleep.org. This is going to give access, this is an international, as you can see, organization that's going to give access to different CBT-I programs. I can just scroll. It gives a little bit more of a description of behavioral sleep medicine, and it gives access to being added to their consultant registry. And then for locally, a resource that if you're a student at Cleveland State, is the Counseling Center at Cleveland State. They recently, as you can see, just started doing in-person services again. If you're not comfortable with in-person services, they still are doing telehealth as well. So all their contact info is here. And I've actually utilized their services before, and it was super easy, super quick. And I know they take most insurances. So they're going to provide basic CBT services, not for insomnia. However, these services still can be helpful to kind of change the way your thought processes are negatively affecting your life in multiple other ways besides just sleep. So they would be able to help out with that as well. So that's going to be the end of my presentation today. Hopefully everybody learned something. Hopefully you're able to apply it to your own life and improve your sleep quality. I know I will be trying to. I am optimistic that it can help veterans, non-veterans. These strategies, I think they would be beneficial for everyone. So thank you for taking the time to watch this vlog, and thank you, Natalie, for hanging out and answering some random questions with me. Yeah.
Of course, I learned a lot. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys.